This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
The story you're about to enjoy was inspired by Maddie. Thank you for your amazing idea. It all began with a yes day. A fun day that was supposed to allow Levi and Ivy the opportunity to get or do anything they wanted. And all they had to do was ask their parents, who were unable to say no for an entire day. I can't believe it's finally here, exclaimed Levi when he jumped out of bed that Saturday morning. Ivy, get up! But Ivy had been up for 10 minutes already and popped into Levi's room as soon as she heard his voice. Are you ready for the best day ever? Called out Ivy as she ran in and jumped on Levi's bed. I'll get the list we made and then we can head downstairs to start our yes day, said Levi as he jumped out of bed. But how did this yes day come to be? You may be wondering. Well, it all happened when Levi and Ivy challenged their parents to a relay race obstacle course the weekend before. They set up the course in the backyard and asked if their parents wanted to try it out with them. Levi and Ivy loved playing outside more than anything and often spent all weekend in their treehouse, exploring their neighborhood with friends or running around the park and down the street. So it was no surprise that they wanted to share some fun outdoor time with their parents. Their mom and dad loved that their kids enjoyed playing outside. And unlike a lot of their friends, they didn't focus a large amount of their time on screens. Yes, they had their favorite TV shows, they liked video games, and their tablets were fun to play with on long car rides, but they didn't use them all the time. If they had the choice, they would almost always choose playing outdoors over watching a screen. Mom and Dad, are you all set for this relay race obstacle course? It's pretty tough, giggled Levi looking at Ivy. Yep, but not for Levi and I. We do these kinds of races all the time, said Ivy with a big smile. Well, get ready to be super surprised, said Levi and Ivy's mom. Your dad and I were obstacle course relay race champs when we were your age. I was kind of a legend in my neighborhood, said Levi and Ivy's dad as he stretched over by the starting line. I was undefeated for years until I twisted my ankle jumping over a mud puddle into the center of a hula hoop in the 1995 championship race at my friend Samantha's house. That was a sad day. Levi and Ivy tried their best to hold back their laughter as they listened to their parents remembering when they were kids. I'm sorry to bring up this very important fact, but you two are a lot older now. And the other day, Dad hurt his back when he sneezed, giggled Levi. And Mom can't get up from the couch without saying, ouch, my knees, laughed Ivy. If I had to make a guess, I'd say Levi and I are going to win this with no problem at all. Oh, you think so? Said Ivy's mom, standing up from the picnic table. Oh, my knees. See what I mean? Said Ivy as she high-fived Levi. We've got this. Levi and Ivy's parents knew their kids had a point, but they really wanted to prove to them that just because they were older didn't mean they couldn't win the relay race. Levi and Ivy's dad whispered something to their mom, and she smiled and nodded her head in agreement. Levi, Ivy, your mom and I have something to add to the relay race obstacle course competition that we think will make this a little more interesting, began Levi and Ivy's dad. The team that wins this race will get... He paused for dramatic effect, which intrigued Levi and Ivy. They leaned in close to hear what the prize could possibly be. The team that wins this race will get... Levi and Ivy's dad said once more. A yes day! Exclaimed Levi and Ivy's mom as she threw her hands in the air. Levi and Ivy couldn't believe what they were hearing. They had been asking for a yes day from their parents for as long as they could remember. But when they asked, they were always told it wasn't a good time and that they would do it one day soon. And it looked like that day had finally arrived. A yes day? Exclaimed Levi. That's awesome! With a yes day up for grabs, there's no way we're gonna lose, said Ivy. that may not have been your best idea. Levi and Ivy's parents saw how serious their kids looked after they mentioned the Yes Day prize. Their eyes sparkled with a glimmer of pure competition. They were focused on winning and nothing else. "Oh no," said Levi and Ivy's dad to their mom. "This may have been a bad idea." "Don't worry," said Levi and Ivy's mom. "We have way more years of racing under our belts and we're still pretty young. Right?" Yes, said Levi and Ivy's dad, not sounding very convincing. "But just think about if we win," said Levi and Ivy's mom. "The kids will have to do whatever we say for a whole day." "Oh, you're right. Let's win this thing," said Levi and Ivy's dad as he high-fived their mom. Levi and Ivy were ready to start and offered their parents the chance to choose when they went. They thought about it and decided to go first and run their race on a fresh course. So once Levi and Ivy's dad was set up on the starting line and their mom was set up midway through the course to finish the last leg of the race, Levi and Ivy took their position on the porch and got ready to start them off. "The winner of this obstacle course relay race will be determined by the fastest time per team," said Levi as he held up his dad's bright yellow stopwatch. "The race will begin when I say go," added Ivy. "Are you ready?" Levi and Ivy's parents nodded their heads and gave a thumbs up. "Okay, good luck. On your mark, get set, go!" exclaimed Ivy as Levi pressed the start button on the stopwatch. Levi and Ivy's dad took off from the starting line like a bolt of lightning. Levi and Ivy were really impressed and a little worried. But since this isn't your normal relay race, their dad couldn't just rely on being fast. He also had to tackle some pretty tough obstacles. And much to his kids' surprise, Levi and Ivy's dad was doing a really good job leaping over, dodging, and running through the obstacles they had set up. That is until he let his success get the better of him. Levi and Ivy's dad was feeling very confident, and he headed towards the puddle jump and looked over at Levi and Ivy to show them how proud he was of himself. But by doing that, he misstepped, slipped on the mushy grass at the edge of the puddle, and fell in with a splash. He quickly hopped up and tagged Levi and Ivy's mom to start her leg of the race, but not before wasting some very valuable seconds lying in a cold puddle. Levi and Ivy's mom started off quickly as well and hopped over, skipped through, and made it past all the obstacles that were in their way. That is until she reached the treehouse ladder climb. She got halfway up before letting out the all-too-familiar cry, "Oh, my knees!" She slowly made her way back down the ladder and finished up the race by limping across the finish line. Levi and Ivy called time and ran over to check on their parents. And I think you can guess what happened next. Yep, that's right. Levi and Ivy got set up to run their race and beat their parents' time by 20 seconds. It wasn't even close. "Oh no," whispered Levi and Ivy's dad to their mom. "We have to do a yes day now." "What are the chances they forgot that we offered a yes day to the winner?" asked Levi and Ivy's mom. "Not very good," answered Levi and Ivy's dad as they both looked over at their kids who were jumping around and cheering, "Yes day, yes day, yes day." Since they did make a promise, Levi and Ivy's parents told them that their yes day could be the following Saturday. And that is where we started our story. As soon as Levi and Ivy's parents were up that Saturday morning, they heard their kids preparing for their yes day. They had watched all week long as Levi and Ivy added to their yes day list and got more and more excited as their big day got closer. "Mom and Dad, it's time!" called out Levi and Ivy, who knew their yes day started at 8 a.m. that morning and went until about 8 p.m. that night. Levi and Ivy's parents took a deep breath as they got out of bed and prepared themselves for the day. "It'll be over in no time," they kept repeating to themselves. "And how bad could it possibly be? I'm sure they'll ask to go to the park all morning, eat some junk food, maybe go to the zoo, and then sleep out in the treehouse," said Levi and Ivy's mom. "For one day, we can handle doing whatever they want to do," said their dad confidently. Then they walked downstairs to the kitchen ready for whatever Levi and Ivy had planned, but they couldn't have imagined what an important lesson one yes day could teach their kids. Once everyone arrived in the kitchen that morning, Levi and Ivy didn't waste a minute getting started with their list of requests. "We'd like to start out with chocolate chip pancakes, hot chocolate, and chocolate ice cream," said Ivy with a big smile. We'd also like to eat that amazing breakfast in the living room while we watch one of our favorite TV shows, added Levi. Levi and Ivy's parents had counted on junk food being a part of the yes day, but they were a little surprised that their kids wanted to watch TV so early in the morning. They never watched TV during breakfast, or any of the meals for that matter, unless they were having a special movie night. But it was a yes day, so they knew there would be lots of things that were out of the ordinary going on that day. Yes, answered Levi and Ivy's mom as she started to get the ingredients out to make pancakes. Awesome! We're going to be waiting in the living room, said Levi, jumping around with Ivy. Strange that they want a TV show so early, said Levi and Ivy's dad. I thought they'd maybe want to eat their junk food outside, maybe a morning picnic, but it's their day. I'm sure the rest of the day will be outside running around with them. Breakfast was served as Levi and Ivy laughed along with their favorite TV show. They loved their first yes day meal and ate every last bit. Their parents gave them time to eat and waited until their show was over before they went back to the living room to clean up. Then they eagerly awaited to find out where the rest of the day would take them. So, what's next? Maybe the park for some kite flying or hike on a trail with the waterfall at the end of it? Asked their dad. And if you ask, I guess we'd have to let you swim under the waterfall in that cool little lagoon too, added Levi and Ivy's mom. That sounds cool, but we were thinking you could buy us the latest version of our favorite video game and we could play that for a bit, said Ivy. Yes, I guess so, said Levi and Ivy's dad. Great, and while we're waiting for you to run to the store and get that, we're going to play on our tablets, said Levi. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, thanks, said Ivy as she followed Levi to grab their tablets and then head into the playroom. Morning TV, video games, and tablets? Asked Levi and Ivy's mom. Not what I was expecting. We still have a lot of the day left to get through, said Levi and Ivy's dad reassuringly before he ran out to the store to buy their new video game. Once he got back, Levi and Ivy cheered and grabbed the games from their dad. They popped it into the gaming system and proceeded to spend hours playing as lunchtime got closer and closer. I'm thinking they'll definitely want to head outside now, right? Asked Levi's dad. I would hope so, answered their mom. As the day goes on, I'm noticing that I was kind of excited for their yes day too. I thought they would have us outside doing a bunch of things they always ask to do, but we just don't ever have time for. I know, I was kind of feeling that way too, said Levi and Ivy's dad. Let's see what they want to do for lunch. Maybe a picnic on the beach, and we could get that amazing frozen yogurt they love. Unlimited toppings. But when Levi and Ivy's parents asked what they wanted to do for lunch, this is what they heard. We'd like to try that new fast food place that just opened up. The one that serves giant cheeseburgers and mega-sized fries, said Levi. And while you go and get it, we'll keep playing our video games. Or I guess we could come with you too, said Ivy. My neck is starting to hurt a bit from staring at the TV. Good idea. We've still got a long yes day ahead of us, said Levi. Great. I'm glad to hear you want to get out of the house, said Levi and Ivy's mom. Since we'll be out, maybe we can have a picnic. Nope. We'd still like to bring the food back here and eat while we play our video games a bit more, answered Levi. What do you say? Yes, said Levi's dad, not sounding very happy about it. As their kids ran upstairs to change, Levi and Ivy's parents waited for them, hoping they would want to do a yes day activity that wasn't on a screen. At least while they were driving to the new fast food place, they couldn't be on a screen, thought their parents. That was until Levi and Ivy asked to use their mom's phone to watch a video. What do you say, Mom? Asked Ivy, holding out her hand from the back seat. Yes, said Ivy's mom in a low voice, sounding a bit disappointed at the request. Once at the fast food place, the kids ordered their food and they all headed back to the house. Levi and Ivy thanked their parents and ran back to their video game where they played and ate burgers and fries for another hour. Levi and Ivy's parents waited in the kitchen for the next request from their kids, just hoping that it wouldn't be something that had to do with a screen. And what they first heard made them really happy, but it quickly went downhill. Mom, Dad, called out Levi and Ivy as they walked into the kitchen. We'd love some ice cream right now, extra sprinkles, extra whipped topping, and extra hot fudge, said Levi. And we'd like to talk with you about tonight, said Ivy. We'd love to eat dinner outside and sleep in our treehouse. Yes, 100% yes, exclaimed Levi and Ivy's mom. I'm sorry for all the excitement. I just think that's a really great choice. Oh, it is, but we haven't gotten to the best part yet, said Ivy. We're going to eat outside and watch a movie, said Levi. Dad can hook up his projector to his laptop and we can download something. And then we'll need to borrow his laptop again because we're going to take that up into the treehouse with us so we can watch shows and play video games all night long, said Ivy. Levi and Ivy's parents didn't know what to say at that point. All they could think was, more screens? Aren't they tired of watching TV and playing video games yet? Then as they were putting together Levi and Ivy's ice cream sundaes, they had a thought. Hey, Levi and Ivy, your yes day ends at 8 p.m., right? Asked their dad. That means we don't have to say yes to you watching TV all night long in your treehouse. Good one, whispered Levi and Ivy's mom. Actually, Dad, everyone knows that as long as you ask for your request before your yes day is officially over, your parents have to say yes, said Levi. Of course, we know the request can't extend into the next day, so we'll be sure to stop watching TV at midnight, said Ivy with a smile. Midnight? Shouted Levi and Ivy's mom. But that would mean you've been pretty much watching screens all day. Yes, all of a yes day, to be specific, Levi said, correcting his mom. So it's totally fine. The yes day was your idea after all, said Ivy. So, do we have a yes? Yes, said Levi and Ivy's parents, but they didn't sound happy about it at all. However, they couldn't argue with Ivy. She was right. They were the ones that suggested the yes day. They just thought it was going to go a lot differently. They continued making the ice cream sundaes as Levi and Ivy sat in the kitchen talking about which movie they'd watch while eating dinner. Once they got their ice cream sundaes, Levi and Ivy ran into the living room and turned the TV back on. They didn't even say thank you to their parents. The hours went by and not once did Levi and Ivy ask to do one outside activity, not going to the park or the zoo or even the beach. Dinner time came and they requested pizza and milkshakes and plopped down in the yard to watch the movie they had picked out. They laughed and ate pizza, but seemed to be in their own worlds. At this point, they had been on screens for so long, it seemed to be all they were looking at. Even when Levi and Ivy talked to each other, they never took their eyes off the screen. As the night went on, Levi and Ivy started to talk less and less. They hadn't spoken to their parents for much of the day, and now they were so focused on the movie that they even stopped talking to each other. Once the movie was over and the pizza was gone, they climbed the ladder to their treehouse. Their dad followed behind with his laptop and an extra long extension cord. He set up the laptop and plugged it into an outdoor outlet next to the back door that led into the house. Levi and Ivy's mom popped into the treehouse with blankets, pillows, and sleeping bags and set up a nice area for her kids to sleep in that night. We'll be right inside if you need us, said Levi's mom. And maybe if you want to, you can look at the stars or draw or play a board game or just talk to each other. However, Levi and Ivy didn't seem to be listening as they started to play a video game on their dad's laptop. Hey, before you start on that game, we could play a game of backyard flashlight tag, suggested Levi and Ivy's dad when he went up to say goodnight. He really hoped his kids would want to take a break from the screens, at least for a little bit. We can't, Dad. It's already started, said Levi. Okay, we're going in. Good night, said Levi and Ivy's dad, but no one answered him. We said good night, repeated Levi and Ivy's mom. Oh, yeah, night, said Levi and Ivy, never looking up from their game. Their parents climbed down the ladder and stood in the backyard for a bit as the sounds of video games were the only thing they could hear. At least their guest day is almost over, said Levi and Ivy's mom. They'll be back to normal tomorrow, right? Oh, sure, said Levi and Ivy's dad, but honestly, he didn't quite believe what he was saying. They would have to just wait and see. As the night went on, they looked out the kitchen window checking on their kids. They saw the laptop light go out at midnight and just hoped that the next day would bring back their kids who loved playing outside and weren't quite so dependent on screens to have fun. As Levi and Ivy's parents waited for their kids in the kitchen the next morning, they noticed that it was taking them a long time to get up and come inside for breakfast. When they stepped out onto the deck to call Levi and Ivy inside, they heard the same sounds they had heard last night. They're playing video games again, said Levi and Ivy's mom. This has to stop. She ran over to the treehouse, climbed up the ladder as quickly as she could. Everyone up and out of the treehouse. she said as she unplugged the laptop and took it down with her into the backyard. Come on, we're almost done with that level, said Levi. Well, it's not yesterday anymore, and your dad and I don't want you playing any more video games today, said Levi and Ivy's mom. And we don't want you watching any more TV or playing on your tablets or our phones, added their dad, stepping out onto the back deck. Levi and Ivy did not look happy, but they agreed and walked into the house. I think they just need some time to wake up, and then they'll be fine, said Levi and Ivy's dad, but that was not the case. The rest of the week went by, and Levi and Ivy did everything they could to get screen time. They snuck their tablets when their parents weren't looking, they used every minute of their daily TV time, and they went to friends' houses to play video games so their parents wouldn't know. This has got to stop, said Levi and Ivy's mom. We have to talk with the kids. They're hardly playing outside anymore. All they want to do is be on a screen. It's not good for them. They need to balance out screens and outdoor play, and it needs to start today. It was Saturday, and Levi and Ivy's parents sat them down in the living room. They wanted to talk to them about their screen time and what happened during their yes day. We never had the chance to watch TV, use our tablets, or play video games all day long, so we thought it would be fun to try, said Levi. And we really liked it, said Ivy. But don't you miss playing in your treehouse, painting, riding your bikes, taking hikes, making obstacle course relay races, and going to the park with your friends? Asked their mom. Yeah, of course, but we have time to do all of that tomorrow, said Levi. You had time to do it all last week too, but all you chose to do was watch or play on a screen, said Levi's dad. Your mom and I had a talk, and right now this house is a screen-free zone. Levi and Ivy looked shocked. And you were not allowed to be on a screen at any of your friends' houses, said their mom. We already called over to them and let their parents know. We're making you get on your bikes and go for a nice long bike ride down to the park. We'll meet you there in just a little while to have a picnic outside, said their dad. And we'll figure out some fun outdoor activity to do all together when we meet up. Okay, they both said, trying to sound excited. Levi and Ivy had to admit that did sound fun, but they also couldn't help thinking about that last level of their video game that they wanted to finish and watching the newest episode of their favorite TV show. However, they knew their parents only wanted the best for them, so they got dressed and went outside to the garage to get their bikes. Levi and Ivy didn't say a word to each other as they put on their helmets and got on their bikes. As they rode down the sidewalk, Levi asked Ivy if she'd rather be playing video games right then. Kind of, but it's also really nice to be riding my bike, she said. I kind of missed it. I can't believe we haven't been out for a bike ride since last weekend, right before our yes day started. I know, it does feel nice to get some fresh air. But I kind of wish we could watch something too, said Levi. Maybe Mom and Dad will be so proud of us for taking a ride that they'll let us watch something when we get back, said Ivy. Maybe, said Levi. As they rode into the playground, they noticed that there weren't any other kids around. They had the whole place to themselves, which normally would have made them very happy, but that day they just felt bored. They wandered around for a little while, playing on the swings and going down the slide, but they felt strange. They just didn't feel like themselves, and they didn't like it. Why aren't we having fun? Asked Levi. I'm not sure, said Ivy. I want to run around and play, but I just feel tired. Sitting around on a screen takes a lot less energy than playing outside, that's for sure. How about we go and take a rest over there? Said Levi, walking toward a big pine tree on the edge of the park. They sat in the shade of the tree in silence and didn't like the way that felt. We usually have so many things to talk about, said Ivy, like making up new obstacle courses, redesigning the treehouse, making fairy gardens, and trying new cupcake recipes. I know, but lately I just haven't been interested in anything else except screens, said Levi. So I'm definitely lacking in ideas right now of what to do. When we're on a screen, we really don't have to think about too much at all. Levi and Ivy agreed that they didn't like the way that they had been feeling or acting that past week, but they also didn't know what to do to get back to the way they used to be. They still wanted their screens, but they also wanted time to play outside, climb trees, go on hikes, and all the other things they used to love to do together. As they continued to sit in the park, they suddenly heard a little voice coming from behind the tree they were sitting under. They whipped their heads around at the same time, thinking they'd see a squirrel or maybe a neighborhood cat roaming around. But instead, they found themselves face to face with a friendly bunny named Dee Dee. And they knew she was friendly because she smiled and introduced herself in the sweetest voice. "Hi, Levi and Ivy," said the little bunny. "My name is Dee Dee, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I was sent here from a magical forest where I live to help you solve a problem." "Hi, Dee Dee. It's good to meet you," said Levi. "But how do you know who we are?" "Oh, I know lots about you," said Dee Dee with a smile. "Wow, it's so cool to meet a bunny from a magical forest," said Ivy. "It's like the one level in the video game where we played the other day at your friend's house, Levi." "Oh, yeah, that magical land was so amazing looking," said Levi. "I wish we could play that game right now." "And that's the problem I'm talking about," said Dee Dee with a giggle. "You don't need screens all the time. Sometimes the most amazing adventures are right there in front of your face. In the real world, right outside your front door." Levi and Ivy couldn't help but listen to Dee Dee. She was, after all, a talking bunny from a magical forest, but they couldn't imagine why she was there to help them. They felt perfectly fine, except for the fact that they really wanted to be on a screen. And that, of course, was the problem. Levi and Ivy were just too close to notice it themselves. Good thing Dee Dee was there to help them out. "Levi and Ivy, just follow me. I'll help you see what the problem is and give you a few ways to fix it," said Dee Dee as she hopped toward a clearing in the trees up ahead. Levi and Ivy followed along closely, and in just a few hops, they found themselves in a beautiful magical forest. Once they got there, they found that they couldn't think of anything else except exploring the magnificent land with Dee Dee and having the best adventure ever. Dee Dee could see the look in their eyes, and she knew their trip to the magical forest was definitely going to help. She just had to make sure when they went back that the feeling they had right then would stay with them. "Can we go on a hike? Or play in the meadow over there? Or make up a fun game using some of your magic to play together?" asked Levi. "Yes, all of that would be amazing," added Ivy. "We could also play some video games or watch your favorite TV show," said Dee Dee, seeing what her friends would say. And while Levi and Ivy did look interested, they said maybe they would, but only after they took a look around the forest. Dee Dee liked what she was hearing and led her friends to her favorite spot on top of a special hill covered with flowers. As they reached the top, they could see a bright rainbow stretched out across the sky. "That's amazing, and looks just like the rainbow we saw from our treehouse a few weeks ago after that big rainstorm," said Levi. "Oh yeah, the storm where we hopped in puddles in the backyard as it rained," said Ivy. "That was so much fun." "You stayed outside during a rainstorm?" asked Dee Dee. "That would have been the perfect time to go in and watch a show or play video games." "No way! Playing outside in the rain is magical," said Ivy. "It's so much fun." "That's great to hear," said Dee Dee. "And this hilltop reminds me of the one where we had that picnic with Mom and Dad. Remember we picked that big bouquet of flowers for Mom?" asked Levi. Ivy nodded and looked up as a flock of birds flew overhead. "That's a blue jay, and that's a robin," said Ivy. "I learned that on a show we watched the other day." "Oh, that's really cool," said Dee Dee. "So you can see how sometimes screens and technologies are great for learning, but sometimes they can get in the way of viewing life around you, live and in person." "You have a point," said Levi. "But sometimes things like video games can let you do stuff you can't do in real life," said Ivy. "Like run on clouds or fly rocket ships to faraway planets and meet cool aliens." "That's true, and doing that every once in a while is totally fine," agreed Dee Dee. "But having screens be the only thing that you explore stops you from having those experiences for real, or making them come to life through playing and using your imagination." And just then, Dee Dee pointed to a trail at the bottom of the hill that wrapped through the forest. She hopped ahead of Levi and Ivy and asked them to follow her. As they hopped along, the forest came to life before them. Dee Dee asked her new friends about their yes day and why they picked what they did. "We picked watching TV and playing video games because it's stuff we never do," said Levi. "It was fun. But once we started doing it, we couldn't stop," said Ivy. "We always wanted to watch one more show or get to one more level on our video game. After the yes day, we just kept going," said Ivy. "We didn't hang out in our treehouse. We didn't go on any walks. We didn't play with our friends at the playground," said Levi. Once they said all of that out loud, Levi and Ivy got a look in their eyes. A look that told Dee Dee they understood what the problem was now and why it needed fixing. Dee Dee, I think we get it now, said Levi. That's why you brought us here, right? To get us back out to the place that we love, to show us what we missed over the last week, and all we could miss if we only keep watching TV shows and playing video games. I couldn't have said it better myself, said Dee Dee with a smile. A show and a video game here and there are just fine, but don't let them make you miss out on the wonderful world around you and sharing real-life experiences with your friends and your family. Thank you so much, Ivy said as she gave Dee Dee a big hug. I'm so happy I could help, said Dee Dee, pointing toward the end of the path, which led Levi and Ivy right back into the park. Because I'm pretty sure I see your parents heading this way for your picnic. Levi and Ivy thanked Dee Dee again, but before they left, they asked if they would ever see her again. Of course, the more you start coming back to the park, playing outside and enjoying nature again, you'll see me around for sure, said Dee Dee with a big smile. As Levi and Ivy ran to the end of the trail, they called out to their parents. They were excited for the picnic and to spend some more time outside. They have a lot of fun exploring the magical forest with Dee Dee and lots of outdoor time to make up for. Hi, how was the bike ride? Asked Levi and Ivy's mom, hoping they had a good time. It was amazing, exclaimed Levi. The best, added Ivy. Levi and Ivy's mom was so happy to hear that until her kids said, but she immediately thought that they were going to ask if they could cut the picnic short and go home to watch a show or play video games. But she was pleasantly surprised when she heard them say, but can we have a sleepover tonight in the backyard with you and Dad? Asked Levi. We could play backyard flashlight tag before bed and look for constellations and tell stories, Ivy said. And bring the TV outside to watch a show before we fall asleep? Asked Levi and Ivy's dad. No way, said Levi. We got our fill of TV and video games last week. I mean, we still want to be on screen sometimes, but definitely not nearly as much as we did last week, added Ivy. Levi and Ivy's parents were so excited to hear this from their kids. The rest of the day rolled into night as Levi and Ivy and their parents spent the whole time outside. And they did the same thing the next day and the next day. And all that time, Levi and Ivy's parents assumed that making their kids take a bike ride was all they needed to get back to a happy balance between screens and outdoor play. However, they didn't know that they had some help from a wonderful bunny named Dee Dee. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.